NERDSoul.
Yeah, okay, at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul today all year, coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right, Doppio Dope. I'm chilling, homie right here, Clement Bryant. Say what's up.
That's good. Looking NERDSoul like coming in. He coming in.
NERDSoul
he came in with the Superman die. He came in with the Superman die. He's just like, whoa!
He's like, all right, I'm here. What are we doing?
Wait, at least he didn't hit the dab. He just really like, just be
he's like, ah.
just like, let's just be like now.
But
don't Luke Cage me, y'all. Don't Luke Cage me.
Yeah, don't. So with the recent news of the restructuring that we mentioned last time we were together, we know what the restructuring between DC and HBOMax is. That restructuring meant that a lot of layoffs were going to happen, and that DC Universe has been essentially gutted. Well, DC has sort of been gutted to a certain degree, and DC Universe, you might as well be going to cancel that.
See,
I mean, well, if you had DC Universe for series and content, you might as well cancel it. If you had it for comic books, I mean, you still got it.
See, and that's the thing. It's like, so I was reading earlier today. I saw an article on IndieWire today, and they were talking about how movies aren't, the king anymore, the king of content anymore. You know what I mean? So I was reading when Jason Kilar, who is now the CEO of WarnerMedia, he's been, like I said, I think I said the last job, he's only been in the job about 3 or so months. Yeah. He was originally appointed to kind of cut the fat from the C-suite. The C-suite meaning the corporate executives, anything above, director and above. So he did that, but the cuts were a lot more deeper than a lot of people thought they were going to be. What my understanding was. Yeah. So, like, I know someone who from Crunchyroll who got laid off, which I'll come back to later. I have friends in DC who may or not have been let go. And so, the day of that layoff started happening, later on in the day, there were rumors circulating around DC being cut. Like, they hit a lot of organizations, more than just, it was Bob Greenblatt and Kevin Riley getting let go, and answering off, and Casey Boyce getting, taking over for that, and then Jim Lee of DC being kind of upped. And then also they cut some of their editorial staff too in DC.
Got rid of DC Collectibles. Got
DC Collectibles, like everything. And so there was an article that came out, I think later on that week, with Jim Lee in THR talking about how now he's like, talking about how they asked him, like, is publishing still going to be a thing? And you're like, yeah, publishing's still a thing, but that said, we have to really significantly cut back the line. And I think earlier that week, they also canceled, 10 or so books. Quote me,
I believe it was 15 books.
It's like 10 or something like that. So it was barely widespread. And now, like you're saying, he said also all HBO original series, DC Universe original series, are now going to go to HBO Max because also they need something. And also a lot of these layoffs happen because of the less than stellar launch of HBO Max. There were a lot of things that would have happened with HBO Max. The marketing wasn't right. That started coming out like the week of HBO Max release. They didn't really have like a big buzzy original series that Disney Plus had with like Mandalorian. Netflix had with something like House of Cards or Orange is the New Black. So they didn't really have a flagship show. The best they could have was Snyder Cut, which is going to come out next year. But the problem is when you have a big streaming service coming, you can't wait till next year to have your flagship series or movie.
And they were going to release Lovecraft earlier, but then they pushed it back to August. And I don't know, who knows what kind of business was behind that, but it's like,
could have been
it seemed like they were going to be launching with Lovecraft, and then they were like, psych. And it was like, okay.
I think, honestly, we'll talk, I know we're going to talk about Lovecraft later, but I kind of think that in some sort of way that kind of did Lovecraft a favor, because I think it kind of gave them a little bit more fervor from the fan base. Because I think I saw today, like, it was like 1.4 million accounts or something like that, or 1.4 million views or something like that. I need to check this out. I didn't have the chance to set this out because I just got done with work, but it was something like that. And so yesterday, right after the show, Journey started trending on Twitter. Just Journey, the word Journey, her name started trending. And then Lovecraft started trending. And then I put a tweet up, and my tweet barely anything. My tweets get any kind of visibility. I've got 33 retweets, 100-something favorites on my review tweet that you talked about last night. So it's like, I think that putting it kind of delaying a little bit helped people be like, okay, we gotta wait for the show.
Like we ready for it now. Like you made
exactly. Well, and if they would have launched it at HBOMax, Lovecraft would have got kind of trapped in that whole bad marketing plan that they kind of had for HBOMax. Yeah. Kind of like how Love Life didn't have the splash that it did, their series with Anna Kendrick, even though they still got to a season 2, it's still kind of like, I didn't really see too many people talking about it. I see people talking about it here and there, but it wasn't like, oh my God, you got to watch The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is dope. Oh my God, I need the show to be bingeable. They didn't have that kind of appetite for HBO Max. Yeah. And even now,
and even Doom Patrol, which was dope, we covered, it still isn't like some kind of like widely known gem.
Right. And I mean, these are not my opinions. These are just stuff that I'm seeing, I'm reading, and I think the other part of the HBO Max launch, I know we talked about it, was they weren't available on the Amazon or Roku devices.
Nope.
And that was one of the keys. And they still aren't. And they're still negotiating that. So you would hope, DC Fandom's going to be this weekend. You would hope by the time that, Snyder Cut happens, that is going to be locked down.
They need to get.
And I know Peacock didn't either. So I think a lot of that contributed to what the layoffs were, sadly.
Yeah, because you're like, all right, they had the 7-day free trial. Most people do a month free trial. Because I remember people talking about that. Then it's not available widely. People mad about that. Yep. So, yo, man, you gotta give something. And
they got to fix it. They had to figure something out. And I think the other part, and not that I'm trying to talk too much. I hope I'm not talking too much.
No, drop. You gotta drop that knowledge.
I'm trying to, but I think the other thing that really kind of hit them hard with the layoffs were that when you talk about a new streaming service, it's supposed to be, you're supposed to be your company is originally already supposed to be set up to be launched. Because Disney Plus, it started when I was, on some of the stuff that I was working on and some of the stuff that I heard about. They started prepping for Disney Plus when it was early season 2 talk of the Marvel Netflix series. Early on, they purchased something called BAMTech for ESPN Plus. They were prepping for Hotstar in India. They were prepping their company for it. And one of the things that I saw in the layoffs were, I think it was on Deadline, that the reorgs on both NBCU and HBO Max should have happened prior to the COVID pandemic.
Because the COVID pandemic
only
exacerbated the issue
they
already had.
Because now they don't have a steady stream of content like Netflix does or Disney Plus does.
And they're not even pushing the stuff they have. Like, I mean, we're in the know, but if you ask the regular person, what does HBO Max have? They wouldn't know. They're not out there pushing their anime side like they should be.
I mean, I even talked to someone.
They're not out there pushing, sort of pushing their films or sort of pushing the series and stuff they had from Cinemax.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a good point. It's like, and I mean, I took a screenshot of my review tweet for Lovecraft Country. I put on my Instagram story. And cat that I haven't talked to that I used to go elementary school with, who's really into Lovecraft, really into like sci-fi mythology, he didn't know where you could watch the show at.
Wow.
So I was like,
and he's like a Lovecraft guy.
He's like deep into like Lovecraft. He's like a metalhead. So you would think that you know, and I'm not trying to like shade him. It's just something that I thought about that was like,
it's not his fault. It's Warner's fault for not saying, "Hey, you like Lovecraft? We've got this whole show like for you. It's right here."
Right.
Like, you know,
that's
I was their
like,
fault, not his.
I was questioning myself, is that a question of they hit their target too hard with it marketing towards us, because you have people like Jordan Peele and Misha Green who are African American, strong African American casts. So I'm wondering if it's too targeted, or is it not? Is the marketing not broad enough? And that's the thing. So I'm like,
there is this contingent of Lovecraft fans that are not pleased with this show because Lovecraft was a well-known racist, and this show is definitely a black show.
Oh, man, I mean...
And they're not pleased with even the idea, the connotation with Lovecraft country, a.k.a. racist country, or saying Lovecraft, and like, we ain't met a good white person yet, I don't think.
I mean, the only
now, it's just one episode.
I mean, the only shred of good white person we saw was that woman that kind of blocked... to block the chase scene.
The car chase. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure there's some ulterior motives right there. I'm gonna just.
Oh yeah.
We know. We got 9 more episodes, but I'm sure.
But we don't know. But we don't know yet. So it's like, you know, getting back to the whole HBOMax of it all, the layoffs. I think a lot of that contributes to the overall, because I think they need a more cohesive vision, and they need to be talking. The left hand needs to be talking to the right, like I said the last time. There's not a lot of that going on with that company. And that's through no fault of the people who got laid off their own. They're just doing what they can. They're just doing their jobs. They're being listened to.
Something that I've perused through HBOMax, even though I don't like the way that you can only navigate it online. Even the mobile version is, but their Peanuts series, their Charlie Brown series, is flames. It is. Really? Yes.
Huh.
Who knows about it? Are they marketing it? Are we seeing
Twitter gifs
of it? We're not. Are we seeing a Facebook page around like the love, and nostalgic love for Peanuts on HBOMax? You're not seeing none of that. It's like it's almost like they're not trying. You know what I mean?
And also
they thought all they had to do is make a streaming service and they'll just come. If we make a streaming service, they'll just show up.
Right. And it's like, and I'm not trying to be overly too critical, but it's also the other thing of it is when you talk about a streaming service, and I think this is not HBOMax's problem, this is more indicative of the streaming problem. Ever since Netflix brought up, legacy networks have been trying to catch up to Netflix. Disney started to catch up. Amazon starting to catch up, but people like, and I don't want to name certain ones because of my job, but also it's like everyone's trying to catch up, and so now we have the streaming wars, I'd
argue because I know there's a certain ones you can't go at, but I'd argue that a network like CBS All Access, they opened up with Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery, blazing hot. That show is awesome. First 2 seasons are straight gold. What did HBOMax open up with?
Jack.
And actually, the funny thing is, you could make the argument that HBOMax has the better overall content than CBS All Access, but then you could say that Star Trek Discovery is probably the best opening show of any of the network streaming services. And Star Trek Discovery, the money is on the screen, and them actors is holding it down. It's well directed. I have no problems. Now, Picard is another thing, but Star Trek Discovery, I'm sold.
See, I liked Picard, and here's the thing with Picard. Here's the thing with Picard. So now Picard, they have Terry Matalas, right? For season 2, who is the showrunner for season 2. He did season 4 of MacGyver. He did 12 Monkeys, and he has links to the original Star Trek series, right? So I'm hearing that, and I can't talk about it, but from what his past filmography is, you're going to think that, hey, this is going to go in a different direction than season 1 did. And the other part that CBS has that HBO Max doesn't have is you have the Star Trek franchise. Because also CBS is part of Paramount because of Viacom CBS. So now,
not that
film library.
You just
so you have Lower Decks, you have Picard. Even though that people might not feel some sort of way about Picard season 1, Picard. You have Star Trek Discovery. You have Brave New World, which is the spinoff from Star Trek Discovery.
Because that'll be
coming. So it's like
Captain Pike, I think.
Captain Pike, Ethan Peck, Spock, and Rebecca Romaine's number 1. They're the 3 anchor characters in that series. So I mean, you already have 4 series coming, and then they're also working on Section 31. And there's a
series on Section 31.
We just literally said the same thing. So it's like, so we right here, but it's like HBO Max, even something like HBO Max. I know we gotta kind of move on, but like HBO Max is even the content that they have that is Warner Brothers is leaving the service.
Yeah, it's weird.
Think about it.
Even look,
it's weird.
They didn't do anything special for. Okay, Warner Brothers has Matrix. They didn't do anything special for that. They didn't do honestly. I would have spent the money. I would have spent whatever money I could to get however many of the cast back from Harry Potter and did like a week-long watch party for all the Harry Potter movies. There's how many of these? 9 movies? So 9 movies. I would have made the 7 movies? Oh, 8 movies. 8. All right, cool. Because, I would have doubled up one night, but for a whole week, the opening week, come on HBO Max and watch such and such with, this star and that star and this star and blah, blah, blah.
See, but
they
also...
did nothing. They didn't even try.
But also, the problem...
Nothing.
Here's the problem with
that. I'm not an exec. I'm not an exec. Where are y'all ideas at?
But here's the thing, though. There's a lot of problems with the Harry Potter franchise right now because a lot of the cast doesn't want to come back, right?
Yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2 is J.K. Rowling. J.K. is putting her
because it's hard to separate
right now.
It's kind of hard to separate her from, because you don't want to mess around. You don't want to try to celebrate the nostalgia of the movies and then mess up and be trending because of something J.K. Rowling did. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. So it's like in the Fantastic Beasts, which is like Harry Potter adjacent, isn't on the best leg. So where they could have gone with it? They could have maybe gone a prequel. Well, technically Fantastic Beasts is a prequel, or they could have done a sequel series. But it's like even people that I know that are hardcore Harry Potter fans that like some of the movies and then love the books, they're still like, I cannot watch this. I cannot associate myself with this franchise anymore because it hurts too much because of what J.K. Rowling said about it.
Now this is,
and so that's the problem.
It's weird. I wonder if now roll with me for a second. I wonder if people are too hard on the franchise in this case, because for me it seems to be a slightly different disconnect because. She's. I don't know how involved she was with the films. Like, is there
I think she had a lot of. I think, and she wrote the Fantastic Beasts scripts too. So it's kind of like so.
Never mind.
No, and I know, and I didn't want to cut you off, but I know you're going. And I think it's hard because some people can separate and be like, okay, I love this.
She wrote the
books,
I
don't love the
but
creator.
Such and such handled the movies.
That's her.
So
that's
the
her
movies
purview.
I can kind of
and Davey. So it's kind of like, but it is a tricky situation. You know what I mean? Even someone like me, who I don't consider myself a hardcore HP fan, but I like it. I'm involved enough to know what's going on. But even then, I'm like, oh man, I don't know how I feel yet. So
see, that's messed up because then you messing it up for like how many actors that you know what I'm saying.
And I mean, it's like a thing.
And did some fun, like little, fun watch along for a couple of hours on a Monday, and then rotate, a couple of actors from each movie each night, and that could be your opening for HBO Max. But now you done messed it up for everybody. So now they can't even come back and get a little bit of cheese from Warner. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, when I think about it, and and I don't want to go hard on HBO Max because it's like they have stuff in development that is really gonna hit hard. But it's like you also have the issues with Johnny Depp, and then you have Ezra Miller for Fantastic Beasts. And I know that's adjacent, but that's still part of Wizarding World franchise. So it's kind of like it's very hard to go.
To Johnny Depp's credit, due to the new tapes that have released, we have found that maybe Johnny ain't as crazy as we thought. But that's a whole. That's up for argument.
That's a whole.
And
that's something that I don't even want to get into right now. Right.
Yeah. But as a company, you don't want to enthrall yourself in that.
Right. So I mean, the only other way they could have gone is DC, which we know that DC is kind of they're better than they were, but maybe would have been the best way for them to do would have been not something from DC Universe, but something that is exclusive to
because
I'm
trying to figure out stuff that you could do without having new content. Like you got all DC, you could have all these actors come in and just narrate like Batman's greatest hits and have like different fight scenes where like he cold knocked him out and just have them be like like watching and reacting, and then put that on HBO Max just for like first week we got these actors coming through talking about, and then it's kind of like trying to tap dance when you ain't got really nothing going on. It's like, but we didn't see no fanfare around it at all. It was just like it's here, and we were just like all right.
And honestly, COVID impacted that because I know that they were working on stuff. But I think my thing would have been, I would have done. I'm trying to think about what I would have done if I was in executive shoes. I would have done something DC related, very splashy. So I would have either did something like an Amazon's series that focuses on the Amazons on Themyscira. Bring back Robin Wright, bring back Connie Nielsen, and it's kind of like a spin-off. I know they're talking about doing something like that to Wonder Woman, and Gal Gadot is in 2 or 3 episodes of Wonder Woman. Or it's a prequel, or it's a prequel series. Or it's the gods that created Themyscira. So it's like, okay, this is something spin off and bring on.
Because even if you wanted to do shorts, shorts, where like say every episode is like 15 minutes, you could do something like that.
Maybe
you get to learn more about Wonder Woman. You get to learn more about Hippolyta. You get more to learn, maybe like the politics on the island. Something.
I mean, or even you could have done an anthology series where you focus on a different Wonder Woman. So you have Cassie, you have Donna Troy, you have the Nubian Wonder Woman that you could do. So it's like, maybe that's an Thursday. I mean, I'm just spitballing, but I think if
like they didn't
really, and I mean, I know they're working on stuff, but it's like, there's a lot of stuff that they're trying to fill out. So I think, hopefully, my hope for HBO Max is that HBO Max can, but the other part of it is they can't touch the Lord of the Rings now either, because Lord of the Rings is at Amazon.
That's why I said lean on your animated content. I mean, you do have some animated content.
Right.
You know what's cute? I mean, I don't know if I can watch hours and hours of it, but the Elmo Nightly show is a cute show.
I've heard good things about it.
Throw that out. It's cute. You know what I'm saying? Maybe have little songs about brushing your teeth and washing your hands, and you know what I'm saying. Have guests on there, and it's a cute show. They could be like, we got the earliest late show right here. Like something. I feel like there was no fanfare, and Warner Brothers owns way too much for there to be no fanfare. To own Looney Tunes, and they got Crunchyroll on there, and they got all the animated DC stuff, Hanna-Barbera.
What else they got? They got Harry Potter, they got Matrix.
Even, you know what? They could have even done Who Shot Roger Rabbit style ads of everybody going into HBO Max together. Now, I mean, I know that takes a little bit of money, but 30 seconds here of just some actors, not every single actor, but just some actors that we know walking into HBO Max. And then people are like, oh, snap, what's this? You know, they got Batman and the real Batman. They got, you got Keanu Reeves and, you know what I'm saying? You got all these people walking into HBO Max. What is HBO Max? And then people are like, oh, snap, it's a service. Like, and I feel like we've come up with better ideas.
But also, it's like, and I want to give them props because they did try something interesting with the out of home, with the billboards, that they tried. They tried to do a tiered approach where it was like, okay, we got the superheroes. We got the superheroes. So like superhero cats are like, okay, cool. We got the romance. Okay, love life. We got all that. Okay, we got anime cats. Okay, we got Studio Ghibli. So part of the marketing strategy was on point.
I will give you that. I did see the billboards, but we're in LA. So I wonder if people are in New York. Only us. Yeah,
and that's
I wonder if those billboards were also in, Virginia or South Carolina,
in Dallas, Miami,
or Texas,
all the hotspots.
You know what I'm saying. Yeah. Were they in those other places where people could know? I'm not sure,
like what they're doing, and that's the hard question to ask. So, I think if it wasn't for COVID, I think we would have had a stronger launch with HBO Max. Yeah. And honestly, I'm not trying to fault themselves. I'm not trying to fault the cast too much because I don't want to be too hard on them. But I think when we talk about the layoffs, hindsight is 2020. So we got to be careful about how we're kind of criticizing it. But also, there was a lot of stuff that could have been addressed beforehand. And if they would have reorged earlier, maybe half of those jobs could have been kept. Or maybe I wouldn't have had an issue if it was just the executives that got out, because the next day, like I told you about Crunchyroll, right? The next day I saw that Crunchyroll's they're trying to sell Crunchyroll. AT&T is trying to sell Crunchyroll to Sony. So I was like, okay,
that's actually a come up for Sony.
I agree.
That's a come up, but I don't know, man.
But the next day after, it was in the news, and I was like, wait, what? Literally, it was like a day or 2 days after the layoffs that happened, that we know that Monday, that Tuesday or Wednesday, that they were like, oh,
what is AT&T? I mean, don't get me wrong. I remember being at AT&T Shape when, 2018?
Yeah, we were both there, right? We were both there.
Yeah, when AT&T bought, the year that they bought Warner. And I was like, oh, everything's going to be cool, whatever. But now seeing this, I'm like, dude, like, I don't know if I get rid of Crunchyroll, man. Because anime doesn't have the biggest following of all.
I'm listening to you.
It's not small in any way, shape, or form.
No.
I mean, Crunchyroll, but you got to lean on it too. You actually have to let people know that you have anime, that you have Crunchyroll, you have Studio Ghibli, and like, we're a major player in anime. Because people do want to see, people will watch it. I don't know. I feel like they have way too many weapons to be like blah.
and I think that's why they're trying to kind of reduce the head count, so it makes them leaner and meaner in a way of, hey, I'm thinking about doing this series, or hey, we have this series. And I think one of the smartest things that they're trying to do now is the fact that they have that Gotham PD spinoff coming to HBO Max. That's the offshoot of the Batman movie. That's a really smart play, because now you're already anchoring a new series. And I know people, they had Gotham, whatever, but you have Terrence Winter. You have Terrence Winter and Matt Reeves. Terrence Winter did Boardwalk
Gotham
Empire.
PD, because what I thought Gotham was going to be when they first announced it, I thought Gotham was going to be sort of like The Shield and The Wire, but in Gotham, and following Gordon, and that's it.
Right.
And it became this weird hodgepodge of trying to be Batman and but not being Batman. I'm like, nah, man, you could have a hard-nosed kind of procedural-ish cop drama.
Right.
Without it, because you could just show you already have a corrupt city built on a corrupt government from the ground to the top. There's tons of stories to tell in that. All you have to do is tell about the city that became the fertile landscape for every crook, criminal, and whatever in Batman's world. You know what I'm saying?
But it didn't go that way.
Nah, not at
So,
all.
and I think, and so what I think, and I know a lot of people have been like, either, okay, we already had Gotham. There's people that are like, okay, we already had Gotham. We don't need another cop show. And then the other part of that is, there's people that are like, do you think a cop show is the best thing right now considering the BLM movement? And yeah, and I hear that, and I honestly hear that, but I think the fact of the matter is, and like, you know, I work in cop shows, so like, I agree. I think the way that we talk about, you know, procedurals does need to be addressed, but this is a show that's based in a comic book world. So there's going to be elements of that kind of takes you out of that and puts you in a world where, okay, but also the corruption is...
If you're honest with your portrayals of the cops and the corruption and stuff like that, then I think people will let you slide on it. If you try to make it seem like every single cop is like the white hat wearing hero, then you're going to catch crap. But if you kind of stick to the Gotham that we know and love from the comic books, they'll be like, yeah, this makes sense. It's, you know what I'm saying, it's dirty cops, you know what I'm saying, a couple clean ones. Maybe the city council ain't worth nothing. The mayor ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, the chief is hanging on by a thread, like kind of that stuff. I think people might slide with it because, like you said, you got the comic aspect in it too, so it won't be like watching Chicago PD where it's like, bruh.
Right. And I think if they're smart, they're going to try to get Jeffrey Wright into it. Because now he's Gordon, right? So he's a black man as commissioner in the Gotham PD, which automatically gives you that kind of, not right, but entry point into dealing with the stuff that we're talking about. And I think the other part of it is Terrence Winter and Matt Reeves are two great screenwriters, and they're good at what they do. Terrence Winter did Boardwalk Empire, which was about corruption. So that was one of the parts that was about
because you could have the narrative could be on some like, all right, well, I'm you know, Jeff Gordon. I mean, not Jeff Gordon. I'm Jim Gordon. I'm going to fix it from the inside and just have the narrative slowly be like, you can't. See? This animal is too big for one person to try to fix, and you can't fix it. This thing is corrupt at the root, from the rich people to the city council to the school board to everybody. You can't fix it. Even you and your maybe handful of good cops, you can't fix it. And then that lets us know, oh, this is why we got to go to Batman. We got to go to the crazy Batman because, I mean, think about it. It's a little extreme to dress up as a bat and go fight, beat people up. But you know, maybe have it be a commentary on that because we've seen enough in real life to know all these people that are like, I'm going to go fix it from the inside. And it's like, I can't really work like that. So, I mean, you could make a commentary on that of like, Jim is going to be like, yo, I'm going to fix it. I know what's wrong with the police department. You know what I'm saying? But when he gets in there, you know, he finds out the governor, the mayor, don't matter.
And I think
you can do that. And I think it would be relatable enough.
Yeah, I think I wanted to kind of piggyback on what you said. I think the fact of we've had Gotham exported a little bit, and Chris Nolan, we know, hit the corruption really hard, especially in Dark Knight. But I think if HBOMax is looking for a good show to like really start hitting it hard, Snyder Cut, you have the Raised by Wolves series coming from Ridley Scott, which who knows how that's going to go, but from what it looks like, it looks intriguing. And then you have Gotham PD. They're working towards shows that will get people. So I think hopefully there is some positivity, but they still also, now I want to bring it into Lovecraft Country. They got a really good start with Lovecraft Country. They got a hit.
If every episode is as good as this one, we're going to be fine.
Bro, and I told you, I don't really like scary stuff, but literally I sat down, when the word go, I was man, I like. It starts off like he's John Carter.
Yep.
Like I was like, this is a better John Carter movie than the John Carter that came out, right? I'm joking, but I like parts of John Carter.
Yeah. But there are parts that are like definitely.
But and so much so you had, you know, Jamie Chung coming down, like it hit the sci-fi thing really hard from the get out.
Random that she was in that.
And I was like, but I was really into it. So much so that you had Jackie Robinson show up in the first 5 minutes as an alien defender killer, man. I was like, what is going on? That's how you knew.
I was like, oh, this is dream sequence.
Yeah. But I think, man, dude, I loved this show. I loved it. I absolutely.
And HBO, like you said, HBO needs this. Like
that's what I'm saying. I think even though that hurt them in the short run, I think in the long run they were smart to delay it because people were ready for it. People were like, Lovecraft Country, okay, let's go. My whole timeline was nothing but Lovecraft Country. Sorry if I said Outlaw Country. Lovecraft Country, just all throughout my timeline. Quotes
and no
references.
No wasted scenes.
None. No filler.
No bad acting.
The writing.
No. My only issue with the episode was the usage of Tierra Whack's song. Not because I don't like Tierra Whack.
I agree with that. I'm listening to it.
Because I'm like, yo, we're in the 60s. Let's keep the musical tone
the same thing.
In the 60s. That's my only issue. Tierra Whack, homegirl can rhyme. She got skills. So I ain't gonna say, like I don't like her. Because I even like the song Clones that was playing. I was just like, it kind of took me out of 60s Chicago. But besides that, that's a small. It's a 10-second clip of an hour and some change episode that was suspenseful, had some comedy in there. Yo, man, when Letty comes running from the back, she like, get y'all, let's get the fuck out of here. Yo, that is hilarious. That had me crying laughing.
I didn't laugh. I was like, oh shit. And like, dude, my heartbeat when she was like, we gotta get the F out of here. I was like, oh shit. Like I was like,
yo, I was busting out laughing. I was like, yo, she ain't playing. She like, let's go.
But when they got in that car, man, I was like, oh my god.
Shouts to Woody, man. Woody took a couple for the team, man. Shouts to Woody.
Woody.
The car, because they call the car Woody.
I messed up, but
shouts to Woody, man. Good old Woody.
I mean,
this is the kind of show that they need, because not only is it a good show, but it's because there's times when a show is good and it doesn't get the love that it deserves. Like we don't see this kind of fervor around Doom Patrol, but the show is good. You know what I'm saying? But this is a show where it's good and you got the response behind it. You got, I don't know if I'd say has been marketed well, but I guess at the same time, this is Corona timeline, so I guess I'll chalk it up to that, because none of their stuff has been marketed well. So I guess that's just the HBO way right now. But the show's good, people love it, and they're talking about how much they love it. So HBO needs this, and it's another win for J.J. Abrams, Jordan Peele, and of course, most importantly, the writer. And is she also the showrunner or just the writer?
I think she's also showrunner, but like Misha Green.
Yeah,
Underground.
I don't know if she's also the showrunner, but Misha Green. This is a huge thing for her.
And I mean, so much so when WGN canceled Underground, everybody was like, "What? What?" Like people were really mad. They were like really mad. So for her to come back with this, right?
This show is flames, man. It's flames. The
It
way
is
they
so
the way they
damn good.
handle the way
Yeah,
they
she's
handle
the
the
showrunner.
characters.
She's the showrunner.
All right, cool. The way they handle the characters, the way they handle racism is very interesting because they
Dude, the Gordon Parks references.
Yeah, because
Not
they
to cut you
never
off.
do. They never do it. No, you good. Like they never do anything where they're like, hey, look, guys, this is racism. They just let you know, like, the day in the life of an average black person is surrounded at every turn. You know what I'm saying?
I think
we stopped to get gas. You're riding in a bus. The only people that gotta ride to the next town. You know, like just the basic everyday stuff. And they never draw a lot of attention to it. They just let you experience it. Like, just let you see it. And I think that's really dope to show that, like, all the time it's there. So it's like it's almost like I can't really draw but so much attention because it's always there. It's always with me. Now, of course, there's certain times we're in a car chase, I gotta, draw attention to it. Or, the sundown town part, or sorry, we're at sundown.
We'll come back. We're gonna come back to that. But I think
crazy.
I think, you know what? And I also think it really worked well for them because it came out after the BLM stuff. It came out as like, even though it's still going, and I don't want to seem insensitive to the fact of when I say this, I don't want to seem like they use BLM in the marketing because they did it. But I think the fact that it's coming out after, like, not, I don't want to even say after because there's still stuff going on, but like, in the
after the first large push, because now we've gotten some legislation actually done in different localities where I'm like, word, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep being loud, stay in their face, don't let up, keep, what I'm saying?
And this is a reminder for that.
This is a reminder of like why we got to do it. Because there ain't no guarantee that sundown towns can't exist. You know what I'm saying? They're still in. Dude, Chevy Chase, Maryland. You know Chevy Chase. Mm-hmm. Is a sundown town. I looked it up. I was like, wait, what? Wow.
And dude, Chevy Chase said that. Where I grew up in Waldorf, it's not that far.
Wow. Oh,
like the Serrata House is in Clinton, Maryland. That's a 30-minute drive from Waldorf. Like all this stuff, and I know Clinton's not a sundown town from what I know, but like all of this stuff is still relevant today, and it kind of shows you that we have not come far enough from where we were back then.
It's like we haven't come as far as someone might tell you, and I like how it kind of lays that out flatly without jumping too far into like banging you over the head with it. And then, throwing in the awesome effects. Like these monsters look great.
Man.
I mean, they don't look great like beautiful, but they look great like this is an awesome effect.
Like I saw someone talk about like they were mad because they compared, they're saying like the whole suite of Bad Robot, which is Abrams' production company, they all look bad. I was like, wait, what? Were we watching the same show? Because that transformation scene at the end of the episode, where he goes from being the man to the vampire-like creature, I was like, oh man.
Like, it's funny because in that scene, what's so cool about that is you hear his voice changing slowly. Because I remember before he started changing visually, his voice sounded weird, and I was like, I thought it was my computer until I was like, oh, he's changing.
Yeah,
man. I was like, what is it? Uncle, what is it? George or whatever was like. He was like, what happens when a vampire bites you? He was like, sir, you need to shoot that man.
I mean, I had to feel it was coming because his whole side was gone, and I was like, how are you still living with that amount of blood loss?
Yo,
like all of that.
Maybe the like, Shogarth. What did he call those monsters? Shogarth, Sloga, whatever he called them.
I forget.
Maybe the infection keeps your current blood to change it. I don't know.
But man,
he straight took a bite out of crime. He should have shot him.
All right,
he should have shot him.
He was like, you need to shoot him. But like, man, can we talk about how Letty was just running. She was. I think that is the. She like. I was like, that is how you need to run. That is how you need to run.
And notice,
that is how you need to run.
Did she fall?
No. And that is like, I loved it. But even that scene where she was like, where he was like, during the car chase, the first car chase, because there were two, where he was like, damn it, girl, you're going to get us killed. She was like, it's not girl, it's Letty effing Lewis. I was like, yes. I was like, I am there for this energy. And
because he was calling her girl a lot. And I was wondering why, but at the same time, if she grew up around him, he probably was calling her that when she was younger, but she's like, I'm not a kid no more. I'm not a child. You know what I'm saying? Even though technically to him, you know, he's probably like, you know, like I'm still a kid. I'm still a kid because I'm 70 or something. I don't know. But
I mean,
you know
dude,
what I'm saying?
It was so powerful. Even that part, that montage, the montage early on with the James Baldwin just like laid on top. The Gordon Parks references, even starting out where he was talking to the woman where Tick was walking with that woman because he couldn't get a ride. He was talking about how John Carter was an ex-Confederate soldier. And she drops the line, he's an ex, he doesn't get to remove X from it because he was talking about it. I was like, that whole quote, I was like, oh my God. And like, being black and watching the show.
Yeah, it means something different to you. And it's true. There's tons of stories. And you I remember talking to the ladies at Blurred Galaxy, and they were talking about how like one of them, I can't remember which one, might have been Jonita, talking about how much she loves Doctor Who. And you know, calling out the problematic things about Doctor Who. And people are like, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it. And it's like, no, I like it. That doesn't mean I can't critique it. You know, right. Also, since we're black in America or black in just an anti-black world, we ain't got but so many shows to watch. Now, of course, things are changing.
I mean, cool,
but when we were coming up, say like 90s, 80s, 70s, going back, you know what I'm saying? There was only so much you could watch in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 70s, stuff like that, 60s or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You're not wrong.
There's only so much you could watch. So you had to find a way to just kind of enjoy it and kind of just let the rest slide or still, like perfect example, Greenleaf just ended. Greenleaf is a TV show that I've watched and I've enjoyed, but I've also called out Greenleaf for its colorism. And
I thought that was going to come up with this, to be honest.
Yeah, and you saw what seemed to be a little bit between Letty and her sister. Yeah, but they just let it be understood instead of like outright saying it, which is another thing that I thought was cool about this. See, and they just let it happen as regular family members would like talk to each other.
This is one of the shows that I can't remember in a while that has a strong black cast. Different from Black Panther because it's a TV show versus a movie. But it's like...
In TV show, we're going to get way more time with these characters.
And that's the other part of it.
Than in the movie. In the movie, you're kind of like in and out. 2 hours or so. And, you know, you're in and out. With this, we'll have 10 episodes, which will most likely be 10 hours of, you know, a journey with these guys. And
play on words.
Got
you, bro. I got you.
Yeah, but on an adventure with these guys.
Yeah, I feel you.
Also another thing that I love is after the crazy night of the Shogarth, whatever, you know what I'm saying, or the Slowgath or whatever they call, they didn't look pretty fired up. You saw they looked like they went through. They look like they went through heck. Like shirts was all torn up, bloody, old, dusty blood, and hair fly, dirt everywhere. Like it didn't look like they were trying to be, you know, like Hollywood dirty. Like, you know, in Hollywood they'll give you like the scar right here, but it's still like a cute scar. No, they was messed up, and I was like, And they was just walking all
Man.
scraggly too. They was walking like, yo, man, we made it.
Dude. I mean, but just the whole creative integrity of the show, man. I mean, even that part where you heard Letty arguing with her brother, and you have that conversation about between Tick and his uncle, talking about how his father kind of failed him, but then Tick's like, he's about to go jump into that business. He's like, nah, Tick, that ain't our business. That's for them. And Tick looked at him sideways a little, but then he was like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where, especially back then, a lot of things were just understood. Like, we didn't speak about it. And I mean, someone might say, well, that's what's wrong with our community now. But, you know, that's just what it was. We didn't talk about the family that your dad had on the other side of town. We just didn't talk about it. We knew they existed. We just didn't say anything. We all knew your mama was a drunk, but we didn't say she was a drunk. We just let it be. And you know what I'm saying? Or we knew they were fighting in there, but we didn't. She got in the car and nobody say nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was just it's just how it was. You know what I'm saying?
And I appreciated that.
I like that they did it that way.
And I think we keep on coming back to the fact of it wasn't like, here's racism.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, here's a reference. Here's a thing. It was all organic. And I think
it felt very genuine, very natural, very organic. Especially the moments in Chicago, it just seemed like people just living. You know, people just living their lives.
And I was appreciative of that, because I think this is my thing when people come into a show, you got to let a show be a show before you can judge it.
Yeah.
But like, and I think I didn't see a lot of criticism on the outset from the show, from like when people were like, okay, here's a trailer. People were like, I didn't see a lot of negativity around the show like I would other shows or something like this. And I think
the trailer was also
I was really,
you know what I'm saying? The trailer.
I mean, and the trailer was popping. It was popping. So, and I appreciate that, but I also just appreciate how the show wasn't afraid to go there, but it was also just organic from straight out. It was just like everything. It's like they took that time for the detail, and maybe that's why they delayed it too a little bit, because they wanted to make sure all the details were in there, because they knew when they released it, they need a hit and they need it to be right. The business people needed a hit, and Misha and Jordan needed it to be on point. And I kind of like also how in the marketing, they didn't rely solely on J.J. Abrams' name. That's the other thing.
I didn't even know until later. All I saw was Jordan Peele and Misha. And then later on, I was like, oh, J.J. Abrams in this too? I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was just like, all right. You know what I'm saying? It was like an extra piece of like, all right, cool, we down. J.J. Abrams,
and I like it.
For the most part, there aren't really many misses for me. Many misses from him.
Same.
So I was just like, oh, where he involved too? Cool. I was like, dope. And man, from the clothing to the cars to this show is
it's just so detailed.
I'm probably gonna end up watching the first episode again for a third time, like say tomorrow.
For a third time? Like, watched it again? Man, I was gonna watch it. I had the same.
I watched it on my own, then I watched it again with Lisa. And yo, man,
what did Lisa think?
She loves it. She's like, yo, this is dope. You know
Dude, what I'm Ashley liked it too.
It's definitely more up my alley, but she's like, yo, it's dope. Like the acting is on point, the effects are on point. The way it's written, there's no wasted stuff in this show. The only thing I'm mad at HBOMax about is like, why didn't y'all give us 3 episodes like y'all did with Doom Patrol, man? At least give us like, come on, man. I'm over here like a fiend. I need more of them episodes, son. You got some more of them?
Okay, wait. Here's what I'm about to do. All right. Okay, off goes the creative brain. On goes the marketing brain and the business brain. I'm not going to give you all another episode. Come back and watch it. Leave them wanting more. And I was like, yes, plus, even though I want it.
Plus, we only got a 7-day. We only got a 7-day. Only got a 7-day service. So you're gonna have to pay us that $14.99 before next week, player. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, see,
unless
they
you
are
got
making the moves.
Unless you got different email addresses. I'm just saying, y'all out there.
I got excited, but I mean, but that's like, dude. Here's a story. Here's the thing. I sat down in front of the TV to watch it. I've been staying with my girlfriend because I want to keep an eye on her through all this, right? And I want to make sure she's good, right?
Yeah.
I was like, baby, I'm gonna watch the show called Lovecraft Country. She's like, oh, I don't want to watch sci-fi. I was like, okay. I was like, sure you don't want to watch it? It was like in the first 5 minutes, and then she started seeing a lot of it, and then literally she put her computer aside. She sat next to me. We ordered Cheesecake Factory, and then she was like, this is amazing. And my girlfriend doesn't get into sci-fi shit like that. She doesn't really get into it. She's just like, her thing is like true crime dramas, documentaries, black sitcoms. That's her bag. That's what she likes. But then she was like, they're gonna have another episode? I was like, not this week. And she's like, damn it. But that's how good the show is.
Yeah, the show is so good. They gotta like, they try to put us on an IV drip. I'm like, bruh, look, I know people that have already seen the first 5 episodes. Where them episodes at?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Where they at? Matter of fact, HBOMax, I'm mad at y'all because y'all ain't respect the brand of NERDSoul. Y'all ain't hit me off with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should have hit me off.
Hey, so y'all getting personal. Y'all getting personal.
And we can be ahead of the game. Y'all,
but,
look, y'all messing up.
Hey, they get it right. They get it right. Hey, my brother, they get it right. They get it right. Now, here's.
I'm like, look, I could watch probably. Now, of course, had to work today, and it was Sunday. But I'm pretty sure I could have been like 5 episodes deep, and just take one for the team on Monday, and be like, yo, look, I ain't doing no filming, no nothing. Just look, I'm sorry, I'm in a Lovecraft coma real quick. We'll go.
I mean, I just think, you know, and I don't want to be judged for my color in the comments, right? But I also think a show is that more powerful when it goes there where it's fans, where it's like people who are like looking for all that, they don't know it's there. I think it's more perfect for them to discover it. You know what I mean? Okay. It's there. They're not going to put it in the trailers because they're trying to get a broad audience, but I also think when you come into a show, you discover it. It's more actual, and you embrace it that much more, right? So I think that's what my point was. But I just think to have a show in 2020 that is talking about all, not some, all of what it means to be Black in America. And then you're layering sci-fi, like hardcore Lovecraft, Xlutu, I can't pronounce it, I got a cold sore, goddammit, but like GD, but it just arrived at the right moment. And I think if they keep on playing it right, they have a hit. And I also think they need to renew it for season 2. They need to play the whole, they need to do that strategy where they just renew it. They got to be having those conversations already to just be like, season 2 before even the second episode comes out.
You know, from the social media response that they got from this on all channels, you know, they like, look, we gonna renew this joint.
And also, here's my other thing. Go ahead.
We'll see.
Go ahead.
HBO looking good a little bit good. You know what I'm saying? They ain't send me no advanced stuff, so they looking bad on that. But they looking good.
Personal. You go personal, bro. You go personal. Now, I think also the other smart thing that they would do is Black Canary solo series starring Journey. And here's what you do.
It's not a bad idea. You can handle her powers with wires because it's just you know Sonic Blast is blowing people back. It's not super expensive to do that. It's not a bad idea because all you're really doing is paying for fight choreography. So it's actually cheaper on the superhero side as far as like effects are concerned. It's not a bad idea.
And here's what you do.
You know what I'm saying?
You get after Lovecraft Country is wrapped, and you have that break because you know there's going to be a long time between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, especially
you bring Misha in.
Corona.
You bring Misha in to co-show run the show with Kathy Yan. You have Margot Robbie produce it, Not because we need, but I think we all like on the issue of allyship. That's something that's been a big part of this conversation. Margot Robbie plays that role, being like, we need this. Journey's popular. She can go to bat for it to get it through. That's why I think also that's kind of why you have someone like J.J. Abrams, right? And I'm not trying to speak, and I'm not trying to speak for anybody. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you need white people. I'm just trying to be like business-minded sense to make it happen.
Yeah.
You bring Margot in to produce it because Margot produced
because people already know that she's involved with Harley Quinn.
Right.
People, I haven't seen the movie, but I know people like the movie.
I liked it.
Or at least hopefully they like the movie. So I haven't seen the movie, so people that like the movie be like, oh, there's the connection there. Unless you don't want to connect it to the movie, then I guess it's not necessary. But I mean, you never know.
I mean, but also
because I know the DC thing is it's in flux right now.
Yeah, but I think that's the way to do it, especially considering that you have someone like Ann Sarnoff, who I brought up earlier. She's the head of Warner Brothers. She's the head of the studio for Warner Brothers. So, and now she's also doing HBOMax content. Easy win.
Yeah.
And you already and I know that the box office was a point of contention for Birds of Prey, but everyone I talked to liked Journey's Black Canary. I like Journey's
honestly,
Black Canary.
You know what would get them hype, and it would be an easy thing to film, and you could film it in the Corona timeline. Do a similar scene to what they did with Captain America, just her in the gym training before going out to do some crime fighting at night. Just her hitting the bag. People be like, oh, man. Hold up, what? Y'all got a series coming out? That's it. Just have her hitting the bag and put like 2021, and that's it. People would be like, yo, we down. You know what I'm saying?
And the voiceover could be Wildcat. But you cast Wildcat not as a white man, as a black man.
Yo.
Come on, tell me that's not hot.
HBO. Why y'all ain't hiring us, man? All right? Warner, we done came out with doper stuff than the people that y'all fired. You know what I'm saying?
Like, can you imagine, dude, like you just have Wildcat and it's not Denzel, it's not Idris, I'm trying to think. Keith David. Keith David
that has a good voice. Either him or President Palmer. They both have really good voices.
Ooh, Dennis Haysbert.
he'll always be President Palmer to me.
No, I know. But damn it, dude. Like, shit, this is really good.
That could be
like
that. Yo,
that could be hot.
Warner, right? Warner, look, anymore, and you gonna have to pay because we done gave.
Yo, we gotta tweet this joint out. Man.
Yeah, we gotta. We after the show, we gonna get together. We gonna tweet this.
We gotta tweet this out, dude. Like, can you imagine, like, just like hitting the bag,
yep.
and then you hear her mom. Her mom's black. I think we don't know the exact race of her mom, but like her mom. Who do we get for her mom? Like, let's fan cast this right now. Let's
all right. Let's see.
This right here.
Mom for
Meanwhile,
Journey.
why are you doing that?
Trying to think. Mom for Journey. I'm trying to think of the age range. Mom for Journey could be. How about? Is you know what? I'll give it to her because she's a dope actress. Vanessa Williams. I mean, she shouldn't be out of the question.
That could work. You do Vanessa Williams.
Yeah, I think Vanessa Williams could work.
Could work.
She should be old enough.
Yeah.
And she's dope on screen too. She
yeah.
On the sneak tip, Vanessa Williams can act on the sneak tip.
I agree. Yeah.
And sorry, I know there's two Vanessa Williams. Vanessa Williams, I'm talking about the singer and actress Vanessa Williams, because I forgot there's the other Vanessa Williams that was on Soul Food. So not the singer and actress Vanessa Williams. So yeah, like, man, that'd be cool. That'd be real cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be real cool. See, HBOMax, holla at us, man. You got a show, got a little consultation. You know what I'm saying? Look, holla at us. Pay us the money. Pay me my money. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, I was just like, and I know, bro. Like I'm like you have Misha Green as the showrunner for a Black Canary series. Kathy Yon co-produces her, co-show runs What Either Way, and you have Margot Robbie produce it, and then you have her as Black Journey as Black Canary, Keith David as Wildcat, bruh. Like I can't like
It's over.
And that trailer could be like you see certain parts of her hitting the gun, hitting the bag.
Yep.
You know, Dinah, blah blah blah, Dinah, blah blah blah, and then you have her mom, Dinah, you need this, Dinah, you need this. Remember, baby, all that kind of stuff. And then you hear her, the scream obliterates the bag in the middle, just kind of like, and honestly, that the residue from the bag that explodes the bag creates the logo at the door.
Yep. And then 2021.
2021. 2022.
We out of here.
I am telling you, that is.
All right, guys. That's it. That's it. That's the show. That's the show. You got it.
That's it.
All right, HBO. Look, hey, Warner. You know what I'm saying? Why y'all sleeping?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Over here.
Wait, he ain't talking for me. Don't kill the black man. Don't kill the black man. Okay? No, I'm just playing. I'm just messing around.
Right over here. To my right.
Okay,
Clement Bryant, say what's up.
What's good? Damn, I want that show. I want that show, man.
I'm kind of hype on that show now.
I'm kind of like, oh my god,
yo.
man. Yeah, but
all you
Twitter,
gotta get
Instagram, what's up?
Oh, well, go ahead and give your Twitter, Instagram. I got one more thing.
Twitter, Instagram, at Clement Bryant. You can follow me and other people at the Black Lightning Podcast on Twitter. We are BL_podcast, and we're always talking about same things that we're talking about on Doppio Dope, but we're also talking about the Black Lightning series on the CW.
Yes. And the fight choreography has to come from the people that did the Raid movies.
That or
you
John
got
Wick.
some real show enough fighting.
But that or John Wick.
Oh yeah, those cats too. And
dude,
got some show enough fighting,
dude.
Yeah.
And
so that's it.
Director of the pilot episode is Kathy, or you get Chad Stahelski, who did
what did he do?
He did John Wick.
Okay, cool.
So
we good.
We done, and I mean, I want it to be a female empowerment thing, but like if they couldn't get Kathy to direct, but she doesn't want to direct, whatever, Chad's still there, and I think that was really dope.
There's gonna be 9 more episodes anyway. Trust
me. I think the John Wick cats did fight choreography for Birds of Prey.
They did? Oh, okay.
I think
if that's the case, if they did, then cool. They already have a relationship with Warner, and it just works anyway. So, look, hey,
damn,
guys, holla at us. Any idea? SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube's the hub. Hit that thumbs up. If you like what you see, hit that thumbs down. If you don't, I'm gonna send AT&T after you. They're gonna cut off your service. You ain't gonna be happy. Also, podcasts for you to listen to. Spotify Music the Bump. From us to you, thank you for watching. And hey, 2021. Got it from us. Peace.
Later.